what really distinguishes between good to great is the passion, is to really use the technique or the technology which is available in a relevant way. If you don't use it in a relevant way, if you just take something because you can gold foil it and then just gold foil it, so it is just for the sake of doing it. If it were to have certain kind of relevance, suddenly it makes a huge difference. I think not behave like a child in a supermarket. I want everything and I want to show everything. But if you are very careful about taking one technique which is relevant to the idea of what you are trying to communicate or what you are trying to create, and then exploit it very well. And then crafting is very, very important. The passion and then the craft comes out of passion, because technology is commodity. Whatever you can do, somebody else can do it. What distinguishes you from others is the passion which you have and wanting to just break the boundary. There are a lot of things which are common to everyone, but some people have used some things which are so beautifully done. You have seen a lot of pop-ups. They're all pop-ups like nursery school books, but there is somebody has used it for a wedding invite, but they have used it in such a delightful and surprising way. It sticks with you, and even that also, the entire thing, the three-dimensional thing, when you open the lid, the box collapses, and then suddenly you see the colors and then the four sides opening. So it gives, it's so relevant, the packaging and then the die cutting and 3D fabrication, everything is so relevant to the idea which they are trying to bring. Then an idea will become like a dum-dum bullet because of the relevance. I think for everything, the technology is growing so much. You are coming from lenticular images, where now it has become much more cheaper, but the images are the same. The relevance of the images and how you are using it, and whatever you think is cheap, tomorrow the digital displays will become far more cheaper, and then the surfaces will. And our lab is working on without any of the glass thing. We are actually working on projections, which is far more cheaper for Indian conditions. So how are you going to compete with something which can actually give you a three-dimensional or an interactive same display with as much cost? So you are not going to compete, because that's not printing, that's projection, that's video imaging. That's completely technology based. Algorithms will be written to that. So your competition is not going to come from other printers or making it cheaper or making the. So two things. One, where do you use it, how you use it, you have no control, because an outdoor agency is giving you, or some other client is actually asking you to fabricate. As a printer, what you can do with all this is keep yourself abreasted with what is happening. So it is like photography companies have changed today. The electronic companies have actually taken over photography companies. So what really stops printers to really become publishers, to really become creators, to really enable display technology? Because at the end of the day, what are they into? Display, correct? If you want to display something outside, either you can do a flexi, or you can do a translite, or you can actually put up a digital billboard. How are you going to make it interactive? You need to actually make the entire technology come together. Otherwise, this entire outdoor technology which you are coming with, will become redundant when the projections will become far more cheaper and far more interactive. Then you will be out of that part of the business. Correct. So all this needs to come together, and then they need to open their eyes to what is happening in the world and what is happening in electronic and a digital world, and then try and then really create. Even filmmakers, there is a symbiotic relationship between Silicon Valley and Hollywood. If these two don't come together, you will never make any innovation or progress. So in the same way, technology and then the printing industry must come together and then see what you can do. As I was saying, today it is possible for me to individually track every pack where it is going. It is of enormous use to the people who are in the packaging industry, to really understand the technology which allows each pack to be unique, can be traced and can be seen anywhere on a GPS. You can actually see where it is being placed. So there are a lot of things which are happening on the other side. They need to open their eyes and then really be little more innovative, rather than saying that I have done bigger, I have done 7 colors, I have done 3 colors. Actually, nobody has ever done this versus that. That does not really matter. As long as people are concerned, you need to make an impact. You need to make an impact. Your holograms, is making far more impact. Why would anybody want, if hologram, the entire projection becomes far more cheaper than your 3D or lenticulars which you are going to do. So why would anybody want to put your poster up, a 3D poster, when you can actually have a 3-dimensional hologram in front of you? And at one point in time, the images were very specialized. Only some people could take pictures. Only some people could actually print them. So it was a job of professionals. Not everybody could take pictures. Not everybody could process a film. Till 78, 79, there was no processing in India. Ektachrome needs to go to Kodak to London. That was the closest place where you can actually get your film processed. So there are a lot of things which used to be done by people who are specialized. Now technology has democratized photography, democratized printing and publishing, and color photography, and then color printers, and color imaging, Photoshops, Instagram, 15 filters you get. You can manipulate. At one point in time, we used to spend days and weeks at Unique and Common to really manipulate an image. Now you can just do it. Now iPhone 7 will actually, with a dual camera, will shoot, both, close up and also a wide lens at the same time. And it actually gives you the bokeh effect. You can actually have more depth of field. Anything, because it shoots, some 70, 80, 100 images per second, and then it actually combines all that to create the effect within absolutely no time. So how do you compete with that? So to me, the most important thing is passion and professionals versus amateur thing. There is visual cacophony which is happening. You see billions and billions of images today, and if you see one good image, you get stuck to that image. There is a lot of value if you were to put craft into everything which you are doing. So it is, the laziness that people are running after, doing a job quickly and cheaply, and then forgetting the quality of it. Correct. Even if you were to do for a living, do 90% junk, 10% quality of work for your inner self, and then do experiment a bit in that. So I think it's passion. At one point in time, we actually used to see what paper, what machine, and what colors, and then what conditions you are printing in. If it is not an air-conditioned closed door, if there is a cutting machine next to a printer, we know that we are going to have lot of dust and particles onto that. So there are a lot of things which we used to actually do to really understand where it is. Today nobody goes to a printer. And then the second thing is the technology has changed. At one point in time, you never used to get the kind of surfaces, the kind of imaging, and then the technology. Today you can, the DPA is not an issue. Correct. And consistency of paper is not an issue, because paper used to get stuck, and then you used to have a lot of raddi paper which we used to print. Dot gain used to be so much, correct, and it used to bleed, and then you have to compensate for that to really do that. Today a lot of things, inks can be controlled, computerized, you can have the consistency, you have almost everything which you actually control. Pre-press has become as easy as anything else. So only difference is passion, and then bring in that quality conscious, and then what can you do which others cannot do, and then why should people buy you? than versus anyone else, because all this is also becoming cottage industry now back again with technology and then the way publishing is happening. There are two things which you are fighting. You are fighting with an amateur on millions of people, everyone who has got a camera, and then everyone who has got a color printer. At the other end, the technology, which is alien to you, and then you need to understand the technology, you need to understand the literacy of this visually literate today's creative people. Today creativity is so important to every individual in this world has become creative. Everybody, all the time they were creative, but they never had chance to express or a canvas to actually showcase. So how do you create this in this environment, something which is better? You need to learn what is happening in technology. You need to learn the context in which your work is going to be consumed by much more literate consumers. So you need to balance both of them and then really see. The other point which you made, probably it's very important that your image is going to be seen in a context. What is the context in which you are going to be seen? Are you in a dingy bar display? Are you in a bright outdoors or outdoor indoor, day night or just day? Correct. And what kind of environment? Will there be dust? There won't be any dust. Will there be light exposure to that? And how much of light exposure will make a difference to the color temperature which you are going to use? And all this, even display is all about luminosity. Correct. Your colors will come out well. Coke will never sell a bottle of Coca-Cola without proper refrigeration. And it should be. Otherwise, the product reputation is bad, because Coke, if it is warm, does not taste like Coke. Correct. If it is too chilled and icy, it does not taste like Coke. So they need to maintain the right temperature for you to enjoy. In the same way, every piece of work which you do need to be seen in an ideal way. So you need to actually work backwards and then really create your image which can actually go into that environment. I think one of the beauty of print, why digital technology can never replace what print can really do, is the tactile feel to it, and a lot of creative people like things being built in front of them. Correct. And then when you are doing anything in printing, correct, you first design, you conceptualize, you design, you put typography, you put design, you put pictures, you put illustrations, and then just go and then make plates of that and then you proof it, and then you actually print it, and then you die cut it, you punch it, and then you make a box, and you do a lot of things which are physical, which are taking shape. There's a lot of emotional attachment when you are actually doing that, and there is a room to improvise at every stage. And if you are involved in every stage, it becomes far more emotional for you. I think passion is one big thing, and second, collaboration. You are open, you should be open to where the value additions can happen, and then be flexible enough to really go. And then I make an artwork, I go to a pre-press guy, and then he says that Pops, let's do this in 8 colors. And then you go back, and then if you 8 colors, if you want to do it, there is no point in running another 3 colors. This is just like that. How best we can do it? Can I go back and then really change the skin tones as a special color? Correct. I come back and then say that out of 4 colors extra which you want to put, I want to put 3 skin tone colors back into the 4 colors which I have, so that I can control the skin far better. So that input actually allows me to go back and then come back again and then really do that. So I think collaboration, and then a lot of things, when you are passionate, printers they're end guys. They cannot do, they're not designers, they're not ideators, they're not conceptualizers, they don't own brands, they don't pay for all that. So somebody else is doing all that. So design houses today need to have the same passion, and then try and then see that everything which they do is innovative, and everything which they do has got craft in it, and everything needs to be perfect. There is grid to be followed if there is a grid, and then typography, and then when you have something, a narrow font specially designed to be narrow. You can't take a normal one and then compress that and then make it narrow, because what will happen to the volume? Volume gets shrunk, correct? It gets compressed. And if you don't understand the fineness and the craftsmanship of typography, then you will say that artwork mein hum adjust karenge, and then you just keep on compressing it, to fit into your weight. Your typography has gone, your aesthetics have gone. And somebody asked me the question, one of your organizers, packaging is supposed to be premium now, and it is actually moving. It is today. Still you need a physical product to buy certain things. You can't have a digital drink. Still you have to buy a whiskey and then sit and open the box and then open the bottle and then drink. Correct? So when marketers are looking at adding, there's only two reasons why people pay more money. One is for the emotional equity for any brand. Second is aesthetics. And then you, as a printer, fabricator, you have got 50 to 80% of that controlled by you. There's nothing stops you in making even the technology, the kind of things which you want to use, and then work far more closely with the design houses, form partnerships with them, alliances with them, and then learn from them. And then, because those are the guys who are going to provide typography, design, idea, concepts, and then you are going to fabricate and then print and then use all the other technology which you have got to really make it good. So if there were to be a better relationship between designers and typographers and visualizers and client and also printers and pre-press guys, photographers, whoever you are using, all that entire team come together and say that we are going to break a boundary. So believe you me that any client, anyone who is coming there and then says that I can give you 10%, people will pay 10% extra to this packaging because of Apple, such a delight each time when you open the box. It's so beautifully designed, everything. So design is integral part. Images are integral part. Ideas are integral part. Today if you see in printing also, a lot of work today which I have seen today is three-dimensional, from a tile to a box to everything. So when it is three-dimensional, you are talking about fabrication. So there is a lot of craftsmanship in fabrication. It's not automated printing, correct? So there is a lot of things which are coming together, which is very good. But only thing which they need to do is work closely and then bring in that aesthetics and then actually make clients realize that if the products look premium, people wanted to really pay that little extra money. There's many commercial art schools today, than earlier. But I think the good ones, I think the Intuit, the Ecole Intuit Institute, which is started by Ravi Deshpande, who is a designer himself and a legend in advertising. And it's a French collaboration, and it is, faculty is beautiful. And they not only teach design, they also teach a lot of other disciplines, including animation, including digital, including UI, UX, and also packaging, three-dimensional. There are a lot of things which they actually make people do that. Same thing with Sapphires. They also teach. Even Rachna is progressing quite a lot in the way they are doing it. Even in Goa, there is a school which is meant for photography, but they teach design, photography, and filmmaking, because all three are interlinked. Typography is a subject for photographers. Have you ever thought, typography design is an integral part of expression of your own pictures? And then, you go to moving, multimedia, and then you shoot, and then you really understand sound design, visual design, typography design, and then your own pictures. There are a lot of design work which is involved in all this. So it is, one of the things, which is going to happen more and more is the convergence. Correct. UI, UX, and then packaging design, you never thought will come together. Correct. And then what stops really all these progressive printers to really get students who understand technology, students who understand how to really design for digital and interactive screens, and also on paper. So if you can get those students which are coming out learning traditional graphic design and also UI UX design, if you were to get some of them into your system, and then you will benefit enormously. This is a book, I mean, a lot of people wanted me to write about my life, so I refused to write. Even my publisher reached me. Bloomsbury is my publisher. They wanted me to write about myself, and I said, no, I'm too young to write about myself. So what I did was, I was lucky enough to be in advertising for 3 generations. I started in late 70s. Now we are in late teens now of 2000, correct, 2016. So what I did was, something before I lose people. So I had taken 100 commercials last 40 years, the famous television commercials, and then brought in the anecdotes and then stories behind that, and then the people who have created it. It's a very interesting way of actually, everyone in our home, my mother, my sisters, my cousins, all of them, or whoever you see from today, little kids, 3-year-old kids to teenagers, all of them have got their own favorite ad. Now people don't know who has created it, what happened before, what happened later. For instance, do you know that Hedgehog was not the pug was not the first choice?
No.
Correct. How many pugs they have used to really get this pug? There are a lot of interesting stories. What happened to Little Girl? Correct. Where is that waterfall? And what happened to Rasna Girl? Where is it? And how this entire anthem of the Airtel anthem, Har Ek Friend Zaruri Hota Hai, was conceived. So there are a lot of, I have actually spoken to a lot of creators, 23 people, and covered over 100 commercials across 40 years. And fortunate enough to really bring 23 different people from different ages. Out of that, I've already lost one of my contributor, which is A.G. Krishnamurthy, which is very sad. But imagine that, people and then their stories, they've contributed enormously, and and people love the brands and then the work which they have done. Those stories will remain untold, unless somebody were to really bring it. And my book is not a theory for advertising people, it is for everyone who loved advertising in this country. Yeah, I would love to do that, because there's so many stories, it's amazing that how easily people say that print is a reminder medium. At one point in time, we used to make people cry, laugh without pictures. We used to actually paint pictures. Without words, we used to communicate. There's so many things, which print has done. Print has got great potential. Nothing can replace a picture and a printed word. And it's only, people think that, you need moving pictures and then you need sound to really make a story come alive. But you ask the old masters, Today, print as a medium has been taken up by real estate guys, and then you see lavish, gatefolds, or, all these e-commerce guys and all the, it's like classified advertising. It has been reduced to that. So they're questioning the intellect of people and then the written word, which is very sad.